So the first thing that I'm going to show you is how to get the legs apart. As you can see in here, you might be able to see how those three locks go in there and how those pop apart. And you see how they pop apart like that. What I'm doing is I'm putting my thumb and my forefingers my fingers in between, and my thumbs go apart on each side. So fingers are going in between like that, my thumbs go on each side, and you push your thumbs apart like that to get those legs to pop apart. And it basically just pops apart those three clips. And to get those back together, you're going to want to pull those together and line them up to where they're just about together like that, and just squeeze the tripod together and they pop together. That way it holds those legs together, so you can kind of briefcase this as you're moving from one point to another to glass or whatever. It just kind of gives the legs something to hold together as it's collapsed up. So it's when it's in your pack, it's nice and tight like that. When the legs pop apart like that, there's a locking point in the pivot rotation that locks the legs, so you can kind of see how they're staying put right there. So that first one, there's two of them. So there's one that's out here like that, and there's another one there. So this further one is for if you're at a lower stance, and the closer one that's a little bit more stiff is for when the typical standing scenario. So the legs are at that nice angle to the ground. If you're lower, you're going to want to have it out here a little bit further to where those legs stay out at a little bit more of a stance out, so they're not so close together. So that's how that works. They can kind of stop there and stop there. Now, there's nothing that's keeping the leg from going outward. So when you set this leg up on the ground at this stance here, you can pick it up and move it, and it stays right where those legs are. And the ability to be able to move these in position them is kind of crucial in an environment where it's your terrain is changing so much. So what that does is it helps you be able to set the tripod up, and those legs aren't flopping in and out. But when you stand it up like that, you can kind of put it in any of these positions. So say you have a log here and you can't put it there, but you can put it there. You can actually adjust the height of it real easy by not having a locking point here to have to deal with. And that it doesn't lock on that outward motion. So what you want to do is make sure that the ground connects that triangle. So the ground is that support. It's not going to go anywhere now, but you just have to make sure it's not sitting on a rock edge or something to where it can kick out. That's one of the dynamics of this tripod, is to have that freedom to be able to move those legs wherever you want them to be. Now you can see how the head gets out of level when you're moving those legs around like this. And that's fine, because most of the panning and tilting style heads that we have can overcome any angle where this head is sitting at. So it does not have to set perfectly flat. Even if you have a V-yoke sitting up on here, it doesn't have to be perfectly flat to lay your gun in there. So those are the kind of the initial setup of the tripod to be able to get those legs set up, just to kind of have an idea of how that works for you to be able to move those legs wherever you want them. Next, I'm going to show you how to do the leg lock mechanism. As you can see here on the side of the leg, you have three caps that have like a little knob. These are kind of throw levers that we've added to give you a little bit more grip on the cap portion, so that you can lock it like that. You can grab the tube and lock it on the tube, but you just have to rotate that tube. So to do the lock mechanism in here, it's a simple eighth of a turn. It's not a tightening motion, so you don't keep tightening up. It doesn't matter how tight you turn this, it's not going to get it to lock any tighter. Once it's moved into that position, it's as tight and as hard to lock as you're going to get it. And so that's where it's locked like that. It's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. When these are unlined, you can kind of see how these are misaligned here. When those are misaligned, everything's unlocked. And the tubes themselves have a rib on them too that dictate where you have that. So you can kind of see whether it's unlocked or whether it's locked. They're lined up when it's locked. They're misaligned when it's unlocked. So you can kind of see how those are misaligned. If they're all lined up, then it's locked and it can't come out. So you can pull them out to wherever you want them, and they're not going to move from there, and then you can lock all three. So you can lock all three of them using the shortest tube. So I'll show you how to do that when I set up the tripod. When I break this thing out of my pack and I want to set it up, I'll break it out, I'll pop it apart like this, I'll grab one leg, extend it out all the way, and then tighten them all from the bottom one. Set that one on the ground and grab the next one, extend it out all the way, tighten it from the bottom one, extend the last leg out all the way, tighten it from the bottom one, and now we're locked. And you noticed how I kind of did a little push in on it? That's just to kind of to confirm that the lock mechanism is locked and you've got all three of them locked in place. You can do them individually like this, to where you can grab individually, and to do that you have to grab top and bottom of that section. If you grab top and bottom here, you don't know which one you unlocked or locked. So you just have to kind of be conscious of that to know that if I want this one unlocked, it's top and bottom of that section. But they can all be locked or unlocked from the last leg. And it's three of them. So what you're doing is it's 1, 2, 3, and you'll kind of feel that when you rotate that, but when that stops, when the bottom one stops, you know that you've locked all three of those legs. So you can unlock them when it stops in the unlock, just stop, let go, and you can push that shut. So again, it's not like a tightening thing. Like some of the tripods that are out there, you have to tighten something up, or a cap you have to tighten up. Some of them have a grip tab thing that you just claps on there. Those mechanisms work great for lighter components and the simplicity of making them. This is an internal lock, so the lock is actually in the tube, not out here. And when you turn this, it locks the position of that lock inside the tube to where it can't go in or out. That's how that works. So when I'm set up like this, then I'm able to move this wherever I want it to be able to get my spotter at the height that I want it to be. I'm standing up here now, I'm 6 foot tall. That's a nice thing about this tripod, is that it's tall enough for you to glass.